Well, for Black History Month, we are spotlighting a driving force behind the Las Vegas Raiders.
Michael Crome is the team's VP and CFO, focusing on the business of the Raiders and helping guide their global image. I spoke with Crome about his unique story.
Just finished race number 3.
Impressive man. Michael Crome is just that. He is the Senior Vice President and Chief Financial Officer for the Las Vegas Raiders, but he was shaped by struggle.
Growing up, I didn't come from a whole lot.
Single mom, humble beginnings, future path unknown.
Honestly, growing up, grew up in probably like a 20-block radius. That was my entire world.
That road ahead came into focus in high school. A volunteer from Junior Achievement spoke to his class about financial literacy.
There was a gentleman in the front of the class, was wearing a suit, nicely dressed, and looked like me as a black gentleman, and he talked about this career path that I had never considered.
But once he did consider it, it became, I think I could do that.
There's no doubt in my mind that one interaction really was one of those seeds that was planted that really got me, kind of on the path of thinking about this career.
College at Akron, a semester studying abroad in India, a world away from the 20-block radius of his childhood.
What is the world? How is business done? What are some of the commonalities that are happening in business in India versus what I see here in the U.S.? And what are some of the differences that you have?
Michael launched into the world of finance, private equity, then back to business school at University of Virginia.
I guess I call it a reset or a retooling when I went back to business school to learn even more about just business in general. Was really a catalyst.
But for Michael, it's not just about corporate success. It's about lifting up that next generation, inspiring our youth. That is a message he wants to impart.
By being involved, like you said, in communities and schools, by being involved in Junior Achievement, two of my mainstays, it's just that. It's wanting to make an impact.
To lift up others as a mentor, just as he was given that boost back in high school.
My goal is to find more Michaels. So to find more people find more kids who were like me, girls or boys, that were like me, that just need direction.
He shares words that resonate, lessons that matter.
I needed help along the way, and I know they're going to need help along the way.
The importance of work ethic, the ability to grind, to collaborate with a team, to do it the right way with integrity.
You've got to put in some of those hours. Never take the shortcut. Always, even if it takes a little bit longer to do it, but it's a more complete product.
Professionally and personally.
Same thing when I'm with family. I can turn my brain off of that. But then when I'm at work, I'm fully engaged.
And he's not just going on a jog. Michael completed the World Marathon Challenge, 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days.
Getting ready to start this race. The best part was, I think, finishing it, obviously, was the best part. Getting to the last stop. Marathon number 1 was Antarctica. So that's a great way to start. It was 25 below.
And he made the adventure about others, turning the miles into meaning.
I was able to fundraise. I raised money for Junior Achievement for that race. Just start.
Yeah.
Just start, put one foot in front of the other. Don't think about mile 23, think about mile 1,
right.
And then think about mile 2, and just keep your feet moving and don't stop them until you cross the finish line.
A metaphor for life. What drives and guides Michael? His faith.
Meditative prayer, having conversations with God and just, helping me to process the day. I don't know where I would be without my faith.
And to try to do everything with high character and high standards.
I want to be able to go home to my daughter and her feel good about looking at me and knowing that Dad's doing the right thing.
This is what he's trying to do with the Raiders organization.
Did I leave it in a better place than it was before I got there?
As far as the Raiders' philanthropic footprint from day one and really every day since.
The tone is from the top, from Mark Davis, obviously the team owner, Sandra Douglas Morgan, our president. It is consistent from all levels, and that we want to do right by the community. One of the things that Mark said is, you're not just getting a football team, you're getting an army. You're getting the Raiders Army.
Michael's message to that young person drifting without direction or just still searching for their path.
But getting outside of that radius and just seeing what else is out there in the world.
I told you he was an impressive man. As part of Black History Month, 8 News Now is honoring members of our African American community who've made a lasting impact. The special airs this coming Saturday, Valentine's Day, at 6:30 p.m.